All right. Welcome to the rebroadcast of the Black Pony Amateur League. You know, on Sunday we had what probably was described as the perfect cast. It was perfect. It was expert analysis. It was high-level analytical thought. It was a quality stream. It was the perfect scenario. It was the only good caster of the group that was able to be present, and yet no one was able to experience the greatness. And the reason no one was able to experience the greatness was because of the new OBS system where you have to transition every single audio setting over to the next scene. And I never transitioned the audio. So when we got our brand new, amazing team logo overlays on the stream, we lost audio. So here we are, rebroadcasting and giving the viewers a second chance to experience greatness. So it may not be as good as the perfect broadcast because there are amateur casters in here with me now, but at least it will be what the people want. So we're going to go ahead and go here. All right. So as we started, we have Team Excision going up against Vortex Gaming. You know, some of these teams yeah, I believe Excision is definitely new. Vortex, I believe, brought some people over from the last stream. I believe they might have been some of the XGN crew, the original XGN crew, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. This was a high level, lot of good gunfights here. And the just so the viewers know, Kenya and Swagger here have not watched the video, so they don't even know who's going to win yet. So they will get to watch this live. I already know what happens. So while I'll talk about generally what's going on in terms of I'll be talking about what's going on in terms on the screen. Most of the analysis is probably going to come from Kenya and Swagger. We will issue our same MVP just like we always do, and it'll be this will be an interesting one for us. So we'll see now. Since I can't control the game, I will have to jump into it. And we started this off with a throwback hard point. So as we go into the rig draft here, I want to hear from Kenya and I want to hear from Swagger. What are we going to be looking for on a throwback hard point?
Well, on a throwback hard point, you know, I want to see what weapons each team is deciding to use. You're going to see the same 4 rigs, basically no matter what. I mean, I guess you could say overdrive or, you know, some people FTL, but basically you're going to see the same 4 rigs. I want to see the weapon. You know, I guess one thing I haven't seen much of in the couple games that we've seen so far, I want to see some high-level NV4 usage. So I'm curious to see what type of weapons, you know, these teams are going to be using and how they're using them.
All right, Kenya?
There's a claw. There's a claw.
I'm looking for early rotations because this map is live or die by rotations. And I'm looking for score streak control. And by that, I mean you need to control the other team from getting score streaks because there's so many open hard points on this map that they can be devastating.
Yeah,
all right.
That's true.
Well, I already know the answer, but I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think may come out? Actually, you haven't really seen either one of these teams, so you don't have much to work with here.
Teams. I'm rooting for the guy with the claw.
I was going to say the same thing. Same thing.
Who are you?
All right.
TBG Tempest. All right, you may be my new favorite player.
All right. Let's see here. I feel like it's been longer than 80 seconds. I think we may have frozen the redraft. What's going on here? Oh, they're good. All right, here we go. Loading in now.
Debatable.
Is anyone else not seeing this? Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I forgot that I have to. Well, I can't watch it on my computer screen. I have to watch it on the the stream. This is going to throw. So I've got 2 screens playing this right now, and one of them's on a delay. So this is going to just completely screw with me. So I don't know what I'm looking at. A definite first world problem. All right. Let's see here.
Ooh.
All right, are you guys seeing us? Loading in now. All right, so this one we're going to start off with Proxy here as he jumps in. As you can see on our stream now, are very sweet-looking team logos overlaid on top of each team, Vortex and Excision. Can we get some shout-out in the chat for the team logos on stream?
Stop pitching yourself. It's about the match.
All right, then tell us about the match. As obviously Team Excision kind of jumped off to an early lead here, getting a couple of the early points, but this one's going to go back and forth for a while, as we will see the middle hard point, the starting hard point really for Throwback. You know, one of the things that I've noticed is that it's really difficult for either team to get a lot of points early in the game. To me, it kind of seems like this one, if you can walk out with 15 seconds or 15 points on the first hard point, then you did pretty good. What do you guys think about that?
Well, let me point this out. Excision had 4 down 3 times, and they have 9 seconds.
Yes.
Well, I'm just now loading into the game, so I'll let you know my thoughts as soon as they happen.
Wait, what?
It's just now coming. I'm just now getting action, so.
All right,
I'll have plenty to fill you in on. All right, I got a score of 24-10. Excision is up. Perfect.
Now you're working.
Now we're rolling. Yes, you know, that first hard point, it's kind of tough to get anytime, but really one of the battle points of this map, I think, is going to be, it's basically barn and baseball. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you win barn, you win baseball, you win the game. Would you guys say that's pretty much the method here?
I would agree, because you have to rotate early for those, and then those are some enclosed ones. So, I mean, you have to win those.
Oh, you just got a grenade kill. Did you take notes on that one?
Well, no one's grenade kills are quite as good as mine, so I can't really...
Of their own teammates? Yes, that's probably true.
Only on me.
I see a Karma out. I see some K-bars. I see this guy's got a Type 2. I've been waiting to see some Type 2.
Proxy actually did a lot of work with this Type 2 here, so you'll see... I
remember Metallifreak in our first game did too.
Yeah, I mean, this one's pretty tight through most of the game as you look at it. I mean, Vortex kind of jumps off to a 20-point lead as we're finishing up we're going into baseball in the first rotation now. But, you know, if you look at it, Vortex kind of... you know, they're winning this one, but also they're rotating really early into baseball. So, you know, they're going to soak up these last few hard points, and then you'll see them actually get the spawns here in a second, which, of course, is Swagger's favorite thing to talk about. If you have baseball and you're spawning your opponent into lime or into, you know, back market and stuff like that, you're really going to rack up a lot of time. It's pretty tough to break here.
Yeah, this is the most important hill, I think, on this entire map. Oh, this guy's got an American flag K-bar. I like that. What is his name?
I appreciate that.
Complexify. I like your camo. Yeah, this
I feel like one thing I've noticed about
teams rack up points.
Excision here is the reason they don't have a lot of time is they're controlling the hard point well, but they're not pushing out. They're kind of just sitting in the hill, and every time Vortex, you know, gets a good break, they get 4 down immediately. So that's something to watch out for.
Yeah, that is key. You got to make sure that you don't just sit in the hard point with all the guys on your team and just get pushed on. You got to actually move outside the hard point and pick up kills outside the hard point while people are trying to rotate. It's a big part of hard point in general.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, one of the other things that it's kind of become a theme in our league, but in a bigger picture, you also are starting to see it more in the CWL is, you know, you have some teams that transition really early and try and lock down the hill. Meanwhile, you have other teams that tend to stay in the hill longer, and they, you know, you'll see them leave only when there's 5 or 10 seconds left, and then they kind of rely more on breaking the opposing hill. And I suppose you can see their strategy because, if you rotate early, you feel like you can lock down the hill and rack up a lot of time. On the other hand, some teams they're getting 15, 12, 20 seconds of scrap time in every hill that they win because the other team rotated early, and, that really adds up. You can actually get 40, 50 seconds worth of scrap time throughout a game. So I'd be interested to hear, what types of strategy is going to work best for what type of team, and do you think there is a better way to go with it?
Yeah, I think there's a much better way to go with it. You rotate early, you get in position, and you kill people while they're trying to break into the hard point from, the high ground or from better positioning. I think that's the way to go. And the only way you lose in that scenario is if you lose gunfights. If the other team's running in and breaking you 4 up versus 4 up, then they're probably just better anyway. But
well, I will take you one and raise you one. Optic Gaming, who doesn't hardly ever go scrap time, and they challenge hills with 10 seconds left, and then they rely on their breaking skills to go take the next hard point. Do you think there is a scenario when it makes sense?
I think it depends on the map and how far, and the type of rotation and how early you need to be to get time. I think that's probably, I think, the biggest answer to your question is that I think it's map dependent. If you're on a map like Retaliation, then your rotations need to be a little bit more crisp. You can, if you don't rotate properly, you can really find yourself caught. This one, I think it's important as well, but I think there are some hard points on this particular map where they're just going to be a cluster of battle anyway. But then I think there are others where early rotations and getting a position, think baseball field, things like that, where I think those are more important. So I think it depends on the map.
All right, well, jumping back into our game here as we look at it, at least on my screen, I've got Vortex up to about a 40-second lead here, spearheaded largely by Prophet. Prophet is, 30 and 18. And so, when you see someone double positive, pushing upwards of 30 kills, he was really leading this squad. Right now, I mean, looking at, Proxy is 15 and 18, Slammer is 14 and 21, Prophet coming in 30 and 19, and then Insanity at 18 and 16. So only really 2 positive people. 1 is barely positive, 2 are negative, but you got someone putting up dropping a 30 bomb on the other team right now, and that really gives Vortex that 40, 50 point lead that they saw there. Although the problem is, as we keep talking about baseball, Excision took baseball and locked it down and has almost made up all of that time now. You're going to see them. They're only down by about 20 points, and here they come in, and they're gonna really kind of take some of this time back, keep it a close match. So what are we seeing here? What have you noticed overall in this game? Let's send it to our big picture strategist here, Kenyo. What's happening?
I mean, Vortex is outslaying Excision very well right now, and they should be up by a lot more, but I feel like there's a couple things happening with the hard point is they are almost overextending on the hard point. They're not keeping, one guy there to help the guy that's in the hard point. And other than that, their rotations are good sometimes and terrible some other times. It's like they'll rotate early for one hard point, and then the next hard point, they just won't worry about it. So I feel like they make these huge gaps, but then when they don't rotate early for the next one, they just give it right back.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you here. You look at Vortex's slaying potential. Like I said, they've got a guy about to drop a 30 bomb. They've got both teams really. I mean, Excision now putting up, 20, 40, 60, 90, almost 100 kills already, and they haven't run away with this thing. So both teams really doing a lot of slaying and not a lot of points being put on the board. These hills are being stuck in transition. They're being stuck with people that, multiple people in the same hard point. No one really locking it down. And so that's why you see this at a 180 to 152 matchup right now. Really Tempest and Prophet just kind of tearing it up and leading the hard points.
Prophet is getting zero help. Zero help.
Yeah. Prophet really was trying to be a one-man team here, but I guess if I'm looking at this now that I'm watching it for the second time, I'm able to really take a more in-depth look on it. And to me, I think the problem here is, exactly what you mentioned before. No one's pushing out. Everyone kind of floods the hard point, but then they stay in the hard point, and these big gun battles are going on inside the hard point, and no one's out there trying to cut down the opposing team before they get to it. And that's why you end up with 100 kills, 100 deaths, and we're only 2/3 the way through the game.
Your problem is you want your best Slayer pushing out. In Vortex's case, you want Prophet pushing out. The problem is none of his other teammates can hold the hill. So in this case, you want your best Slayer in the hill to hold more time. So they're kind of in a catch-22 situation. They need to figure it out fast. Either somebody needs to pick up their game a little bit, or they need to leave Prophet in the hill.
Yeah, I mean, I think your best Slayer, I'm not sure I really want the best Slayer in the hill. I think the best Slayer is better served pushing out and trying to cut people down before they get there.
I agree,
but then again,
but
it also
when the
depends
rest of
on
your
what you're
team's falling.
using. That's very true. But you also have to think about what guns you're using and what your players are equipped with. You got someone with an ERAD, they may do better work out in the hill, whereas that NV4 player might want to take a high position or do something to try and stop the pushes coming in. So, I mean, right now, the lead has been traded again, and then Excision now up to about 212, pushing up as they get closer on it. But, Vortex still at 190. This game was never really blown away. It was never. No one really ever ran away with it. This kind of seemed like there were a lot of gunfights going on, a lot of battling, and then all of it was for 10 or 8 seconds of each hard point. And so you never really saw a whole lot of you never really saw like a whole like any team really where you feel confident that, oh, they've got this one in the bag right now. As you can see, the Excision did drop their Centurion, so that actually ends up playing a factor here on this last hill.
Don't worry, boys. Backup computers
weapons in this game.
Been put in.
So you came in just in time. Excision actually kind of pushed out the baseball hill here and dropped down their Centurion, just totally screws with Vortex Gaming and ends up now finishing it off. And, it's at about 249, and here it comes. So Excision did get the win for this. I
have one very important
first
question.
Hard point. What's that?
It's more important, I think, than even who won or lost. Did you get to see the guy use the claw, and how was it?
No. He missed it.
We did not get to see the claw, only because one player was working towards a warden. So we decided to stay with, the guy who was trying to get a warden. Figured that was more important here. And so yeah, chat doesn't appreciate the lack of streaming the claw use. So as we take a look at the stats for this one, Team Excision, they've got Tempest goes 39-25. Drewy 27-34, Job goes 30-30, and Complexify goes 32-28. So you got one guy negative, you got two guys close to even, and then Tempest just goes off and drops up a 40 bomb. Now on the side of Vortex, you have similar. You've got one guy close to even, two negatives, 22-35, and then 25-33, and then you have, of course, Prophet, who goes 43-30.
73 engagements, man. Not bad. Not bad.
73 engagements, and that just goes to show you that, I know we already talked about it, but we talked about it a lot. But it's just so tough because how do you play a game, a hard point, where you have 120 engagements or 120 kills on your team? 120 kills and 120 deaths on these. There's probably 500 engagements during that hard point.
It's impressive.
You're not doing something right.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I think we already kind of beat a dead horse on this, but it comes to pushing out, and that's what I'm going to challenge both of these teams to do, is to kind of push out a little bit and get these engagements happening outside of the hard point.
Yeah, that is how you end up with so many engagements, is that you have multiple engagements going down inside the hard point and hill times constantly changing hands. I mean, that's exactly how you have something with such a high engagement total in hard point, for sure.
All right, well, after watching that hard point, you got to see a little bit of little bit from both teams. A lot of K-bar. But I want to hear kind of what are you guys expecting to see going into this S&D now? Because I already know what happens. Obviously, you all both do not. So what are your first impressions of each team, and what are we expecting in S&D? Let's go ahead and start with Swagger.
Well, I have no impressions of the teams because I only saw about 1.5 minutes of Hardpoint. So I'm looking forward to some good S&D, and I just wish that one of these guys would use the claw so I could see it in S&D. There's my
all right,
analysis.
Kenya.
I fully expect Prophet on Vortex to break his back carrying the team.
Yeah, I do want to see that. I want to see what he does.
Yeah, and Excision, I don't know. It's either going to go, they're going to run great routes and they're just going to slay Vortex, or they're going to 4-man stack on one bomb and get killed by one sniper bullet. It's one or the other. I haven't decided yet.
I actually hope it's the second one.
I'd really love to see that. It would not be the first time that we've seen people 4-man stack the bomb in this league.
Wasn't there also a guy on Excision who was like plus 15 in the hardpoint, right? I forget which one it was. Was it Tempest?
Yeah, it was
really
Tempest.
Good game in the hardpoint. So it'll be interesting to see how those two guys go head to head.
Even though he lost, I actually believe Prophet had the bigger game. Prophet had 43 and 25 or something like that.
He did, but there was a guy on Excision who had a pretty big game too. So I want to see those two guys go head to head. See how that works out. I want to see who gets the better of that matchup.
So yeah, we flip through the guns here. You'll see that Tempest doesn't want to show us his gun, so he stays on fists. But I believe they had a Type 2. Each team had 2 K-bars, and I believe one team ran an NV4.
No snipers, huh? I don't see one yet.
Oh, I believe there's snipers coming out. There's going to be some good sniper work. You're going to get to see it.
Good.
All right, so as we first come out of the gates here, this is a really interesting move because Vortex immediately goes with a 4-man hit on the B-bomb site. I was not a fan of this move. I'm not really a big... I don't like trying to rush the B-bomb site. I think it's one that... I don't know. I don't like sending all 4 men to B. I think somebody has to go to A, somebody has to check mid. Wow. And as you can see, Excision kind of takes them down pretty fast here. So what just happened?
No kidding. They just ran at him and got shot.
It perfectly explained it. They 4-man hit B. Nobody checked the flank, and this guy with the sub just destroyed them.
Concur.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't hate. I take that back. I don't dislike a hard B hit out of the gate, but you have to have somebody check. Somebody's got to be working mid or A.
Yeah, so someone's got to be at least watching your back. You can't let that happen, right? Especially with an RPR Evo. You can't get killed with that gun. It's too garbage.
But Vortex trying to get a team kill here.
Yeah. Oh, here's an MV4.
So they immediately come back.
There's a beatdown kill.
So now Tempest comes down to a 4v1. Excision actually, after kind of dominating that first one, Vortex comes out with a pretty strong spread around the A bomb site and comes in from multiple angles, takes down Excision, gets down into a 4v1. Tempest doing his best here to fight back, picks up the first kill, falls, and ties up the score.
If he had the claw, he would have won.
Yeah, he needed the claw.
I want to take a minute again to shout out the excellent team logos overlaid onto our stream right now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Now, because now they're about to disappear because this is where we realized the audio was out. So now, well, I take that back. So yeah. Anyway, so after the unsuccessful B hit first on their second round of offense, Team Excision plays it a little bit. I'm sorry, Team Vortex plays it a little bit more traditional, I guess you'd say.
Oh.
They have at least somebody on their flank.
Proxy, I'm sorry that was on stream, buddy. That was not your best work. That guy must have lagged.
Yeah, there was. Actually, connections weren't too bad for teams on this one. But
why does nobody get the flanker? Stop letting them flank you.
So now it comes down to a 1v1 with Drewy versus Slammer here. And interestingly, Slammer picks up the bomb and immediately hauls back to the A-bomb site, which I don't dislike. But if you're going to do it, in my opinion, if you're going to go turn all the way around like that, you need to plant the bomb. He knew that Drewy was at the B bomb site. He picked up the bomb, went a long route to A, and then just kind of hung out there and waited for Drewy to come in and attack him when I would have preferred to see him put the bomb down. But, that one just kind of came down to a 1v1 and who saw who first.
Yeah, he was moving. A lot of movement happening right there. There's a lot of movement. So let's see. I'm waiting for these sniper shots that you're talking about.
Oh, you're going to get to see them. There were snipers in this one. I'm fairly confident.
Was it sniper
If
team
Proxy
kill?
loses another gunfight like he did last round, we're going to have to talk to him.
So the first two
that
drop
was-
for Excision here, and Vortex comes up to an early 4-2 lead. Excision kind of retreats and starts heading to the B bomb site, leaving both of the Vortex players at A. They pick up the one guy at B. Now Vortex is going to know that they're at B, and they don't plant the bomb.
Oh, here we go. They're going to run right into each other.
They man stacked. They man
Head on.
stacked. Look at this. Look at this man stack. Oh my God! Stop it! Stop it with the man stack.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's no good. That's no good. You hope for better right there. Proxy getting a lot of love from whoever's driving here.
It was a one-man show of the casters. The best caster had to really
he got
show
sniped.
his true potential. So now the snipers finally come to effect, and 3v1, and Excision actually ends up taking the 3-2. But so at this point, we're kind of getting towards the middle of the game here. Now, what are our first impressions after seeing what was just a bloodbath of a hard point? Well, before I offer my input, what do you guys think? What are you seeing so far between these two teams in S&D?
Seeing a lot. It's tough to say. I'm seeing a lot of. There's a lot of like multi-man. This is gonna sound dumb when I say it, but follow my logic here. There's a lot of like multi-man engagements, as in you're just seeing big clumps of these teams hit other big clumps of the team, and whoever's left standing wins. And sometimes, in some ways, this game in S&D, this game in particular, lends itself to that a little bit. But you haven't seen too much like variance as far as like a team trying to hit a certain site and leaving a flanker and spotting certain angles. You're just seeing a lot of just them rushing at each other, and it's not saying it's a bad thing. You're just seeing a lot of them rushing at each other and kind of seeing who's left standing. If you feel like you're a superior gun skills team, then maybe that's a good strategy. So that's what I think I'm seeing so far.
I was really excited for the ninja there for a minute. I'm sorry.
I thought he was going
James
to do it
switched
too.
away before he died.
I was wondering if that's what he was going to try. Oh, here's a sniper. Here's a sniper. Got him.
I would
Who's this
have
guy
the way
sniping?
Vortex played a hard point. I would have expected them to hit a site and leave someone to watch the flank, but they have not done that. They've just left the flank wide open. Excision, I predicted them to man stack, and we haven't had the 4-person man stack, but we've been close.
Yeah, we definitely did have it too.
Nice.
Look at this. They're
one.
going 4 through the mid. Oh my goodness. Oh my
Job
goodness.
is just destroying them.
Well, in fairness, they ran right at him. They basically. Oh, FTL. Oh, who's this? This is Joe BQ. Job with the FTL. Always like to see a good FTL.
How do we feel about the job sniper?
Well,
Oh, that was good.
back to what Swag said, he can snipe, but he had people running straight at him, so.
Yeah, sorry, I
Like-
ended up cutting out there for a second, but yeah, that was the kind of the sniping that I was telling you about there. I mean, you start off a game with a double sniper kill.
Yeah, but I mean, they
pretty
just didn't,
filthy.
but they didn't even check to see if he was going to be there.
Oh,
They
wait,
just
wait.
ran into the middle.
Proxy's got a sniper. Let's see how many times he can get first blooded in one game.
So here's an interesting one. Drewy basically tries to put the bomb down in the middle of a firefight on the B bomb side. I couldn't really figure that one out, and that ends up losing them. That ends up losing them this engagement here.
He's jammered. Yeah. he's going to get it down now. Nope, he's not.
So Excision ends up taking this one on 6-2 after kind of the firefight going on there at the B bomb site.
I don't even know how I would describe that round because
I didn't see what happened.
I think
Basically
Swag
what happened
explained it
is-
to me best. It's
Okay.
like watching the women Call of Duty League where they all run to the middle and just whoever's
boy.
left surviving.
Are we about to get sued for what's about to happen here?
I mean, not to be mean, but that's what happened. And the guy's trying to put a bomb down when two of his teammates are shooting around him. Like, what? How did you ever think that was a good idea?
So I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying. Basically what happens is everyone just came into one giant firefight on the B-bomb site, and whoever was left to survive wins the round. So now Job goes 11-3 for Team Excision here. Drewy 6-4, Tempest 5-4, Complex and 5-4-4. So, 2 positive or 3 positive, but both all kind of close. And then Job with the 11-3.
They had a guy put up a
Obviously,
donut.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Vortex did have a donut on their team.
Look, I've been there,
So-
but that's still unfortunate.
The question I have for you guys is what was more impressive, the 40 bomb from Tempest in the hard point or the 11-3 from Job on S&D?
I'd say the 40 and the hard point.
Yeah.
Not that the 11's not impressive, but 4-on-4 sometimes.
Including
you
2
can-
snipes.
Yeah, I mean it's impressive. 11's impressive.
But they were
with
just
4-on-4
running at him.
S&D. Yeah. The 40 and the hard point's pretty impressive. You got to, no matter what's happening, you got to do some work to drop a 40 and a hard point. That's a lot of kills. So I would say the 40 and the hard point, but the
You know what's
11's
most
still
impressive?
impressive as well.
Prophet almost had 50% of his team's kills. That.
Correct.
No, this is.
Profit.
So-
well, Profit. We're gonna give out the first ever MVP to a guy on a losing team? You can't.
He
right?
deserves
it. You gotta be on it. You gotta be on the winning team to get the MVP, right?
There's no rule that says that, but I feel like in my personal opinion, Prophet had a good game, but 7-6 in S&D isn't dominant. It's not carrying your team. I mean, it's just
You
a
can't
good
do
game.
anything when
right?
you're the last one alive every round.
No, it's not.
We can take a vote on this, but my OC Gaming MVP, I'm giving it to Tempest. Who's yours go to, Kenya?
I'm gonna give it to Tempest only because he pulled out the claw.
All right,
I'm
well,
gonna
in
go
that
with him
case,
as
it doesn't even
well.
matter what you think, Swagger.
I'm going to go with him as well. He had a big hardpoint game. He's positive in the S&D. I was thinking about. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this guy's name. I assume it's Job Q or something like that.
It's Job Q. I've just been calling him
okay.
Job.
All right, so I would, you could make an argument for him in S&D, so I'll at least give him some love out there because no matter what happens, an 11-3 S&D game is a really good game. But I think I agree with you guys, and I'd be all right with Tempest getting the MVP for that one.
All right, so our official OC Gaming MVP there goes to Tempest. So that was it for this matchup. Before we let everyone go on what has been the not best broadcast in the history of our league, undoubtedly brought down by the addition of the other 2 co-casters. I want to get final thoughts here.
Wait. I've never had to watch you drive because when we play, I always drive myself. You're a terrible
I know what's
driver.
coming here.
Terrible driver.
Hey, I would like to point out that I was driving, casting, and operating the computer stream all at the same time here. I usually have things pretty well controlled here. I'm a pretty strong driver.
What you would say is you were a distracted driver, kind of like a drunk driver, or someone who's driving and texting?
As the only person here who knows how to operate OBS, I would be happy to allow someone else to drive, and I can just sit here like you guys and not have to worry about what's on the screen, and just kind of let somebody else do 90% of the work and chime in every now and then when I decide that I have some sort of input for the game. So hey, why don't you guys decide to drive one time, and you can
Nah,
buy
you're
a
good.
$150 capture card and try and get it to work.
Stream, I
Nah,
would
I'm
like to
alright.
apologize for his lack of driving skills from now, in the past, and in the future. I don't know what you guys are gonna do.
I don't. Hey, don't knock it until you've actually had to do it. All
It
right.
is annoying.
So I want to hear first impressions from each of you on each team. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Swagger. I want you to talk to me about Vortex Gaming and what did you see, and what do you think they did well, or what can they do a better job of for their next matchup?
Well, I think, here's the thing that makes it tough is that we know some of the other teams, so we know what type of level we think they have. When you have two teams who you don't know much about their level, you can only compare them relative to each other because we don't have any knowledge coming in of what if Vortex was playing, say, XGN or something like that. We would have a better idea of where they stack up based on what we know about XGN. So, we don't know. Excision may turn out to be the best team in this league. And so then we'll look back on this map and we'll say, well, the hard point, they at least got some slaying numbers in there, and Prophet's a beast, and we may look back on that and say, wow, Vortex actually gave them a decent run based on how well Excision did. These two games, they weren't, the hard point was kind of close, right? That was about what was it, 250 to 190, something like that?
Basically, up until the end, it was almost 200-200 at one point, and then Excision actually ran away with the last 50 points in the last two hard points, and kind of took it.
The thing, I thought Excision was I thought they were good at search and destroy, from what they showed. We're just gonna have to see what these teams decide to do in S&D. I feel like last season the thing I kept talking about was solidifying the spawns on hardpoint. This year it's going to be S&D strats. I can already see myself having that be my big thing for this year, like just avoiding the temptation to just run at each other, guns out, and seeing who's left. So I can already see that being something I go on and on about, and everybody makes fun of me for, but. That would be something I would say maybe going forward we would want to look to see a little bit more of.
All right, Kenya, what are our first impressions here? I actually do believe, somebody mentioned in the chat, I think Vortex Gaming has people from the old XGN team.
It's possible. I don't recognize any of them, but it's possible.
Let's see. Excision, they have a lot of good slaying potential. Hardpoint wise, their strategies as far as early rotations and pushing out of the hardpoint are not the best. If they work on those, they would be one of the better teams in the league just because of their slaying potential. S&D wise, S&D their defense was fine. They sent 3 men at the bomb that's pointed, 1 man on the flank. I'm fine with that. On offense, it was a different story. They kind of looked confused. They would go to one bomb, they would plant it, and they would have 3 guys standing all within like 10 feet of the bomb, looking different directions, and that's a recipe for disaster. I mean, they won 6-2, but against some of the better teams, that's just not going to fly. So, I mean, raw talent-wise, Excision was fine. Strategy-wise, they need a ton of work. Kind of the opposite for Vortex. I mean, you had Prophet doing a lot of work. I don't know who leads that team, but Prophet had, just watching him personally, he had a lot of good strategies. He had a lot of know in what he was doing. So, I mean, it seems like they almost need a leader in that team to tell them, what they should do in every round of S&D or every hardpoint in hardpoint. So they're going to have to rely on some strategies if their killing is not going to be up to par. And you see some of the teams even in like the CWL now where their killing's not the best, but they have great strategies and it wins the matches. So I think they'll both be fine. Just for me, Excision has a higher ceiling, but if Vortex turns it around, they could be good.
Yeah, and I think I agree. It's one of the things I noticed about Vortex Gaming as well. It's tough for me to say what their kind of gun skills or talent level was because I noticed that they looked a little bit disorganized on their strats for S&D. And I think, one of the things that we learned pretty quickly, and one of the things I'm a firm believer in, is you can only have one shot caller. Somebody's got to be the shot caller of your team and say, all right, let's go ahead and hit B. We're going to send 3 people here. And, Job, I want you to watch middle with a sniper rifle, cut them off if they try and come and flank us. or something like that. And then everyone moves. And so it looked to me like there may have been a little bit of miscommunication or disorganization on what everyone's job was and what everyone was doing. But then again, you never know. We might have been wrong there. So either way, I thought it was a pretty impressive showing from both teams. I saw both of these teams, and I felt like they're going to be. I think these are going to be two to keep an eye on, but definitely both of these teams are going to be pretty good for us.
They're both solid for sure. And just to inform the community, fairly certain that Black Pony Gaming has played against Vortex Gaming.
Have they?
Trying to find evidence right now, to be determined at a later date.
An IW or Black Ops 3?
In Infinite Warfare.
Huh.
But we'll have updates on that next time.
All right, well, that will be it for our stream tonight. Don't forget, there will be another tomorrow night at 8:15. At 8:15 tomorrow night, we're going to have Imperial Gaming versus Viral Gaming. So Viral, pretty much the undisputed champs of last year. I think they only ever lost
to XGN.
3. They lost to XGN. And then I think they lost like 1 or 2 maps total other than that. But I think Viral's overall map count, because they played so many games, they ended up being something like 15-4 or something in their map count. I mean, they were just absolutely dominant. However, insider knowledge here, some of the Viral guys are telling me they actually didn't really play Infinite Warfare too much. So, it'll be interesting to see whether they still kind of keep that high level of domination that they had in last year's league. So don't forget, tomorrow at 8:15, tune in. Go ahead and watch Viral take on Imperial Gaming, and that'll be a really good one. That's all we have for you guys tonight. This has been Black Pony Gaming with the rebroadcast of our Viral Gaming versus Team Excision. Congrats to Excision on the win, and congrats to Tempest on our OC Gaming MVP.